Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode, and thank you very much for tuning in. To everybody who always tunes in, thank you very much. And today we're going to be doing something different, and I've realized I don't think this has ever been done on YouTube before. We're just going to sit in silence and enjoy each other's company. I'm only playing. I've had the pain, but the pleasure, but the headache of trying to predict this Champions League race, and we're going to be predicting each game that are in the Champions League race to the end of the season, and then we're going to be looking at a league table, what my predictions are. And honestly, when I make scout reports on like footballers, it takes us like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours if it's a big one to prepare. This has had me going insane because I've like done me little edits for the video, and then I've changed my mind and I've had to do it again. It's taken us at least 2 days just to do these little edits that you're going to see in this video from predicting these games, predicting this Champions League race, because it is absolutely fascinating. And this is the league table as it stands. And this is what I mean by me little edits. And what you're going to see at the end of the video that honestly I've changed my mind on all the results so many times. So when I change my mind on the results, I've also got to change the end of the Premier League table, and honestly it's just had it absolutely baffled. But I want to hear your predictions as well in the comments below. But look, it's all to play for every single team. I don't think you can really rule out any team in this Champions League race, not even Newcastle United. And I'm hearing a lot of Newcastle fans say that we're guaranteed Champions League football. I'm sorry, but you're not guaranteed anything in football. And if you've learned anything in football, there is no easy games. There is no guaranteed wins. And we're going to see that throughout this video, because personally, I don't think Newcastle United pick up 6 points. And I don't think I'll keep it to the end of the video. But this is that Premier League table as it stands. As you can see, Newcastle in 6th, Man City 4th, Chelsea 5th, Villa 6th, and all the way down to Nottingham Forest in 7th. 3 out of those 5 teams will qualify for Champions League football. And look, there's an argument. There's a world where even Arsenal aren't guaranteed Champions League football. Even though I think they'll get it, there's still a possibility. There's still an outcome of Arsenal not getting Champions League football. That's how close it is. It's all to play for, and these are the remaining games. So you've got Arsenal, who have got Newcastle at home, Southampton away. Newcastle have got Arsenal away, Everton at home. Man City have got Bournemouth at home, Fulham away. Chelsea have got United at home, which on tonight actually, and then Nottingham Forest away, which will be absolutely massive. Villa have got Spurs at home, United away. And if you looked at those 2 fixtures at the beginning of the season, you'd say that that's a tough ending to the season. Spurs at home, United away. But what baffles me about this league table is the benchmark of staying in the Premier League used to be 40 points. Neither Man United or Tottenham have reached that benchmark yet, and we've played 36 games. That just goes to show what a poor, abysmal, diabolical season they've both had. But honestly, it's absolutely fascinating, because I fancy Villa to win them both, but I think there's an argument where they don't win them both. And we're going to touch upon all of this. And then Nottingham Forest have got West Ham away, which I believe is quite a tough game. And then it all comes down to that Chelsea at home. Now, the benefit for Aston Villa, Man City and Newcastle is that Forest and Chelsea will take points off each other. One of them is either getting nothing or they're both getting a point. So it's absolutely fascinating. But the reason why I say Newcastle aren't guaranteed Champions League football is because, one, we've got Arsenal away. You have to favour Arsenal in this situation. Despite us winning at Arsenal already this season, beating them at home twice already this season, we've even won away to Tottenham this season. So we've got a great record away or against North London teams this season. But there's still an argument to say that Arsenal can still win this game. It's like the law of averages. You beat somebody and then eventually they're going to beat you. And that's my kind of thinking in this game. So I don't expect Newcastle to get anything away at Arsenal. But one thing I will say, on the other hand, I do think Arsenal get too over-emotional when they play against us. I don't know if it's just Arteta himself or it's a team, but sometimes it feels like we live rent-free in their heads. But I just got a feeling that it's one game, maybe too many. The law of averages says that the dual result against us. And that's not to say that they're better than us. That's just football, right? You win some games, you lose some games. Even when you're expected to win, sometimes you do get beat. And then Everton at home is not an easy game. I don't care what anyone's telling us, because Moyes has actually picked them up since he's arrived. And Everton have been very, very good and a tricky team to play against. Don't concede many shots and they don't concede many goals. But I do think We need an early goal just to ease our nerves in a high-pressured game because I'm expecting us to get beat at Arsenal, we must beat Everton. But if we turn out like we did against Bournemouth, Fulham or West Ham, it can be a different story. So what I'm trying to say is anything can still happen in this title race. Now, this is the form table going into these last 2 games. And as you can see, Aston Villa, City, Newcastle, Chelsea are all up there. The only team that's really dropped out of form is Nottingham Forest. So on the form table, there's so much still to play for. Aston Villa will be full of confidence. City will be full of confidence. Newcastle will be full of confidence. Chelsea will be confident despite them getting beat at St. James's Park. The only team where I feel like they're a bit down at the moment, and it's harsh to say because they've been in the top 4 for nearly the whole amount this season. That's the first time they've dropped out. So it kind of feels like, how will they bounce back from that? Is Nottingham Forest. So because of this form table and being the top 2, I kind of feel like Man City and Aston Villa are in the best positions here, because I think Man City with a home game against Bournemouth and away to Fulham, yes, quite tough games because both teams have a good season, but I can see Man City picking up 6 points there. And then Aston Villa, at the beginning of the season, if you were to handpick 2 teams to play at the end of the season, it would not be Spurs or Man United. But if you asked Aston Villa now to handpick 2 teams to play, considering they're both in the Europa League final, I know 1 game's before and 1 game's after, you're probably going to see, apart from the relegation side, Spurs and Man United. So it's fascinating how it's just flipped on its head to these games being quite a good running coming the end of the season for Aston Villa. Now, these are my predictions, and yes, you can shoot us down because honestly, I'm not very good with predictions. This is why I hardly win any football bets, because I'm just not very good. So you can shoot us down, but I want to know your predictions in them below. But going into game week 37, these are my predictions. I've got Arsenal beating Newcastle United. And again, it's not because I don't think they're the better team. They're not much better than us. I just think for the laws of averages, they're going to beat us. I've just got a feeling. I hope I'm wrong, but I've got a feeling. And then I've got City beating Bournemouth at home. Because of the home advantage, I think City are they've picked up towards this end of the season. They haven't had a end of the season like they normally do, where they win like 16 on the bounce, but the form is definitely picked up from the beginning and the middle of the season. So I expect them to have a strong ending to the season. Then I've got Chelsea beating Man United 2-0 at home. I think Man United, because this game is before the Europa League final, I don't think Man United are going to care about it. And I just think that they're not going to give 100%, in my opinion. Kind of like the Liverpool game where the title had just won, they'd already celebrated it, and they came into this Chelsea game just thinking, it's just another game of football. We don't need to really win. And I think Man United are going to think the exact same, because they won't want to overdo themselves, maybe get injured. They'll probably rest players. So I can definitely see a Chelsea win at Stamford Bridge. Then I've got Aston Villa beating Spurs for similar reasons. I think Spurs will be in a similar trajectory as what Man United are on. They'll not want to overdo themselves before the Europa League final. They want to keep themselves fresh. And this game is just about getting 90 minutes under the belt, probably just get their match sharpness. And I expect Spurs to rotate a lot, especially because I've just lost Kulusevski. So they're not going to want to lose any more players. And then this is where it gets tricky, because it's actually Forest away to West Ham. So I've got them the wrong way around, sorry. So because it's away from home, I'm expecting a 1-1 draw in this. I don't know why. I just think I love what Forest have done this season, but I just feel like they're just going through the motions a little bit. That's probably the best way of putting it. And I kind of feel like Forest are going to drop points away to West Ham. So that's how it looks going into game week 7, going into game week 8, with 1 game remaining. And as you can see, it's incredibly tight because City jump above Newcastle, Chelsea get closer to Newcastle, Villa get closer to Newcastle. So it all comes down to this final game of the season with everything still to play for. Even if City lose, Newcastle could win, Chelsea could win, Villa could win, and then City drop out. So it's all still to play for. And this is what football's all about, right? Like this high risk, just like a lot on the line, a lot of pressure. Fans get behind the team playing with pressure, and just those moments. Imagine when you score on the last day of the season and it puts you in the Champions League places. The roar of emotion from fans will be phenomenal. Honestly, I cannot wait. But this is my game week 8. And again, you can shoot us down. Let us know in the comments below. I don't mind a bit of nastiness. Let us know if you think I'm talking absolute BS. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios here because there's 1 game I'm just tossing and turning on in my mind. So I am going to give you 2 different sets of results here just for 1 game only. And again, I've got Arsenal beating Southampton. I know that's away from home. I just couldn't be better to switch it around. But Arsenal to beat Southampton away from home 3-0. City also play Fulham away from home. I've had an absolute stinker here. But City to beat Fulham 2-0 because I just think City have got that experience. They'll get the job done and I can see them getting into Premier League. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Nottingham Forest taking on Chelsea at the City ground, and I expect them to draw. I just really think Chelsea struggle against deep blocks. I expect Forest to be more expansive because they need to win the game, and I think that's where Chelsea can catch them out, but I just can't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet. So I'm going for a 2-2 draw here. Now, this is the game that I've honestly changed my mind about 700 times throughout yesterday. I made these screenshots yesterday, and I've changed my mind so many times. It kept us up last night just thinking who's going to win, Man United or Villa, because I see a couple of different scenarios. If Man United win the Europa League, I can see them just being on an absolute high. And sometimes Man United, even when they play badly, pull a result out of nowhere. One thing I will say is I don't think that Aston Villa will lose this game. I think they'll either draw or win. So this is a scenario if the draw. And if the draw, I think it's going to be a tight draw or 1-1 draw. And I can see Villa hitting the post a couple of times, having one cleared off the line, just having one of those days. And those days can come at any time. And I've just got a feeling, being at Old Trafford, the last game of the season, the Man United fans will absolutely get behind their team because they've just won the Europa League, because I'm predicting them to win it, because Tottenham have lost Maddison, they've lost Kulusevski, so they've pretty much lost their creativity in the middle of the park. So I expect Man United to win that Europa League, and because I've got experience. And then Everton against Newcastle is a tough game, but I am expecting Newcastle to win just because I've got the home advantage. If I had been at Goodison Park on the last day of the season, their last home game, probably would have favoured Everton, but because it's at St James's Park, I favour Newcastle. So if the results are like this, if Man United and Villa do draw, this would be the final league table. City would finish third. Newcastle finish fourth. I expect Arsenal to win both their games. Chelsea finish fifth. Villa to finish sixth, just on goal difference. And that would be a heartbreaking way to lose out in Champions League football. And honestly, I can't lie, I would feel so sorry for Villa fans, because Chelsea have had the Conference League, so they've able to step off the pedal a little bit. They're able to rotate in the Conference League, keep their players fresh for the Premier League, whereas Villa have went deep in the Champions League. So for them to be in this position is incredible. They also reached a semi-final, the FA Cup. So them to be in this position is quite incredible. And to lose out despite going deep in the Champions League, deep in the FA Cup, is incredibly heartbreaking. I cannot lie. If the rumours are believed to be true about Villa's PSR issues, Champions League is vital for them. But I said I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I've actually predicted a different scenario as well, just for one game only, and that is all the results to be the same. Arsenal beating Southampton 3-0, City beating Fulham 2-0, Forest, Chelsea drawn 2-2, but I've also got, I can see Villa beating Man United 2-1 away from home. I can also see that. If that was to happen, this would be the final league table, and you've got Villa in fifth, Chelsea in sixth, Villa joint fourth with Newcastle United, but Newcastle are ahead on goal difference. So I can see two different scenarios, and I just honestly can't make my mind up if Villa are going to beat Man United or not. That's the only one I'm struggling with. The rest, I'm probably wrong, but I'm confident enough to say that's what I expect. But that Villa Man United game can go. I just don't know how it's going to go, because it all depends on the Europa League final, in my opinion. Because if Man United lose that final, their fans are not going to be happy. And I can see Villa winning at Old Trafford. But if Man United win that final, I can see Man United just being on a high and having a good result at the end of the season. But I want to know what you guys think. I just think it's incredibly fascinating. But they are my predictions. And that's probably my final league table, because I can see a world where Aston Villa beat Tottenham and Man United. But I want to hear from you guys. If you've enjoyed this video, I know it's a little bit different from most videos. Let me know your thoughts in the below. If you enjoyed this video, I will do more of them. But I just find it absolutely fascinating. So let me know your predictions in the below. You can do your score results, or you can just do the final top five. I want to know from you guys. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Don't forget, it's okay to disagree. Football is all about opinions. So let me know your thoughts in the below. Once again, thank you very much for sticking around. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, Away the lads.